Alright, first things first. Bowl. I have these Crimbus looking bowls, but they're very wide and flat. Perfect for dough. So, first, and yes. Now this feeds either one fat person or two normal people. Yes. So, first thing. 150 milliliters of water, or 1.5 deciliters. And now I haven't used dry yeast in a very long time now. I always use fresh yeast. You really don't need a lot. This is probably too much. Then what I do is a little bit of salt. Probably that much. That's probably a lot more. That's probably way too much. Maybe, I don't know. And then just to help the dough rise and get nice, some sugar. I haven't measured in forever, but that was probably a teaspoon of salt and 2 or 3 teaspoons of sugar. Maybe 2 teaspoons of salt, actually. And then I get a nice wooden spoon. This one has a flat edge here, which is very nice to just scrape the dough off the bottom. And get the flour ready. That one is almost empty, so I need a new one. This, and then olive oil. This is ecological olive oil. Anything ecological or ecological or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Eco. Always tastes better. It really does. If I have to buy carrots, I always look for ecological carrots because it just tastes so much better. Just turn this around to dissolve the yeast. Sort of, I guess. Fresh yeast is always much more reliable to be alive. It's very rarely actually dead. It's good enough, I'd say. Now I just dump in a whole bunch of flour at first to get some consistency. I only measure the water. Only measure the water. Because I just look for the texture of whatever I'm trying to make. Sometimes I like a wetter pizza. It'll be a slightly smaller dough, yes. But sometimes I like a wetter pizza. And wet stuff, wet dough always works better when you have less. You stretch it thin, in my opinion. Just turn this around, trying to get some of the lumps out. Fairly smooth now. I'm just going to go ahead and add some more flour. And we just stir, 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 get it combined. I just spilled some flour on the ground, on the floor, sorry. My dang mom, I'll clean it up afterwards. Scrape it down the sides of the bowl, just to get fuck. Make sure I get every dough piece combined and shit. Yeah, this dough will be a thin, like I'd like to say New York style pizza, but I've never been to New York, never had that pizza, so I don't really know. But for those of us here in Norway, I think Peppes, no, not Peppes, Pizzabacon, just slightly thinner, usually slightly thinner. Right, so this is really starting to come together, coherent mass. Scrape off the dough on my spatula, wooden spoon. This is not a spatula. Just try and get everything off. And then eventually you just have to get in with your finger. Scrape it off. I'm gonna throw that away for now. And I'm gonna take my watch off. Flexing. Yeah, come on. And then now I just flour up my hand. I don't need both hands, but just get in there and make sure it sticks to itself. Get it all combined. Scrape off the stuff on the sides. So I just fold and push down on itself, which stretches the gluten on the side that gets stretched around like this. So the part back here will get stretched gluten strands things, you know, to get the chewy dough. If you don't like chewy dough, you can leave it as is now. Just I would push it together like this. What I'm doing is just taking a piece, folding it over and into the dough, and then pinching this shit stuck so that you get... Oh, wow, it's very sticky. This is still a very wet dough. And then like so, a roughly cohesive ball of dough. Actually, I'm making 2 doughs anyways. I'm gonna just put that in another bowl right now. Alright, so here I'm just doing a very quick sped up version of this. So I have 1.5 deciliters of water, some more of the fresh yeast. I accidentally put in a little too much salt, so I just poured out some of the water and put some more water back in. Got some olive oil in, and I'm putting in some sugar as well. And then I'm just stirring it all real fast up to get the yeast dissolved. And then I'm going to add the flour. Stir that around real fast as well. And eventually it'll come together pretty nice. And then once it's solid enough to be handled by hand, you can just get rid of the spoon, scrape off the dough, and start kneading. It's very nice. Alright, so back at this step. You just want to coat your fingers with flour, which I forgot to do at first. Take all these small pieces that are just lying around. As many as you can get to at least. And just fold in itself and punch down, stretch out, fold on itself, flour fingers. It might look like I'm incorporating a lot of flour into the middle of the dough right now, which I probably am, but I can't tell the difference in the end anyway. I'm scraping off the stuff on the edges up here. I don't know if you can see that at all, to be honest. Just gonna scrape off the flour on my fingers, my phalanges. Like so, turn it over, pound down, turn over. This little piece tried to get away from me, didn't he? Turn over, pound down. Alright, so they say to knead the dough enough until you can tear out a small piece, or not tear out, but stretch out a small piece and it doesn't stretch. Stretch it out enough to you can see through it almost. I think they call it the window pane test. I've heard a lot of people do the whole lift and slap down thing. Lift, stretch, flap down, while sort of turning the dough, but I can't be bothered to do all of that when this seems so easy. At least to me it seems easy. Let's see. You see this? Seems good enough to me. I'm just gonna mop up all the flour left in the bowl. Scrape off my fingers. Generally, it's a lot of tiny pieces here. I did make sure to wash my hands right before this. I even had a shower. And now, let's see. So I have this nice piece of dough. I'm just going to go ahead and stretch it onto itself. I'm just using my thumb, and I fold onto itself by turning my thumb and the index finger around each other, sort of. And then just pinching in my entire palm. Seems decent enough. Some olive oil in the bowl. Spilled some. My bad. Rummage around to get it all nice and nice. Now, this might still look a little scuffed. Let's get the oil up on the edges of the thing here. Make sure it can slide around easy. And then that's about it. Now we just wait for a few hours. Oh. Here's a clean towel I can clean my hands on. Dry my hands, sorry. And then I just cover these guys up in plastic foil. A lot of people say to oil the plastic foil. Right? Call me M&M. But I think it's fine to just, as long as you have oiled the top of the dough fairly decently. Like so, easy peasy. Doesn't need to be nice and tight or anything. Just putting this aside. Here's the other one I did 15 minutes ago. Not even 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. It's already risen a little bit. Just gonna go ahead and put on some plastic wrap on that guy too. I once found, what's it called, Tipio Doppio Zero in a store, with like the Italian pizza flour kind of thing. Which is, I heard that was supposed to have more proteins in it, which helped make gluten and all that. It rose about as well as the normal ones, and it was a finer grind, a finer powder, which made it a little softer to work with, but in the end the texture did not matter at all. So I just buy regular flour, which costs half the price. And, well, that's about it. Here are my two doughs. This one is very yellow because of this yellow light here. It's fucking hard to film. This one looks blue because of the outside. It's a cloudy day. Anywho, so these two guys, I'm gonna hang out and rise. Look, these are homegrown wild eggs. See, this is the Pennsylvania turquoise variety. These are going to rise for a few hours. Let's see, it's 10 past... It's 13:40. It's 13:40. These are going to rise until like 7-ish. At which point I'll pound them out flat and put them on a tray and do them at 300 degrees. Yes. Alright, see you guys in a few hours.